arriving in Hervey Bay after spending a night on the Greyhound bus. We jump on one of the local buses and check into our accommodation. Ready for our trip to Fraser Island in the morning. This morning, we're picked up and dropped at the ferry port, ready to cross to Fraser Island. Jumping aboard our 4x4 tour bus, we head through the forest towards the famous 75-mile beach. We made a quick stop at SS Mahino, a ship that ran aground in 1935 during a cyclone. Our next stop was the cold and super refreshing Eli Creek. Then we enjoyed a delicious buffet lunch. Then went on to explore more of Fraser Island's forest, the only rainforest in the world that grows on sand. Our final stop of the day is the stunning, freshwater Lake Mackenzie. Finishing an amazing day on Fraser Island, we agreed that we're definitely going to come back and explore more one day.
Today, we're off to Beerwah via a 5-hour Greyhound bus. As we arrived, the heavens opened, so we ran to the nearest supermarket to do a quick food shop.
Yeah, okay.
And then a lovely lady offered us a lift to our lodge. Grateful to be in the dry, we checked in and got an early night ready for our trip to Australia Zoo tomorrow. Waking up feeling very excited, we jumped on a bus to Australia Zoo, created by Steve Irwin.
That I, Steve Irwin, would want to be remembered for is be remembered for passion and enthusiasm.
What good is a fast car, a flash house and a gold-plated dunny to me? Absolutely no good at all. I've been put on this planet to protect wildlife and wilderness areas. Is there anything in this world that would want to make me give away what I'm doing now? Yes. Yes, there is. When my children can take the football that I call wildlife conservation and run it up.
Something that's always been on my bucket list is to hold a koala. And, as a surprise, Tom has booked us an experience to do just that. It was everything we expected it to be and more, but they're surprisingly heavy and their claws are very sharp. Then we headed to the famous croc show, spying some beautiful elephants along the way. We spent the rest of the afternoon exploring this amazing zoo and then ended the day by feeding some very friendly kangaroos. On our way out, we headed to the Australia Zoo Animal Hospital. It was so interesting to see what goes on behind the scenes. But also heartbreaking to see all these poorly koalas. After a busy and amazing day, we jumped on the bus home for dinner. Today is a travel day to Southport on the Gold Coast. We'll be getting 2 Greyhound buses over the next 4 hours and then hopping on a tram to our accommodation. We checked in and then headed down to the local shopping mall to do our food shop. Today, for the first time in our travels, we're hiring a car. Despite the rain, it felt so good to be driving again, and we headed off to Springbrook National Park. Due to the rainfall, the waterfalls look better than ever as we had a very soggy walk around. And then it all went south, as we both got attacked by leeches, my absolute worst nightmare. Oh! Why do they always get me? Happy to be back in the dry, and having never felt less Christmassy, we played some Christmas songs to try and get into the spirit. Today we're going to explore a bit more of Southport. Our first stop is a local walk, which is known for having wild kangaroos. It was so cool to see these beautiful animals in the wild, and we even got to see a joey. Although the weather's not looking too promising, we head to a beach with the hope that it improves. But we weren't very lucky, and it was very short-lived as the storm came in. So we headed to drop our rental car back, stopping to fill up with petrol along the way. And finished the day with one of the best salads I've ever made.
Today will be one of our longest travel days, starting with a 16-hour bus to Sydney. Arriving in Sydney, we catch a taxi to the airport, where we planned on waiting 10 hours for our flight, so we didn't have to pay an extortionate price for a hotel. Arriving at the airport, we find out that it doesn't open for a few hours, so we had to kill some time in the only place that's open this time of night. Of course, a McDonald's. After what felt like a very, very long wait, we headed to check in to the flight to our next destination, Uluru. Uluru is bang in the middle of Australia, in the centre of the outback, and while we're staying there, we'll be closer to the International Space Station than any other form of civilization. Excited to be landing in Uluru, we're hit by the intense heat of the outback. Collecting our bags, we jump on the free shuttle to the Outback Lodge. With only one town to stay in Uluru, the accommodation is very expensive for obvious reasons, so we will be staying in our first and probably only dorm room. So we dump off our bags in our luxurious room and then head out to explore. With the food here being just as expensive as the accommodation, we find the cheapest meal that we can, a very generous helping of a kid's chicken and chips. And then we settled in for our first night in a dorm room.
With an extremely early start, we jump on a bus for our sunrise camel tour. After learning about these fascinating animals, we hopped aboard and plodded on our way. Of course, being in the outback, we're surrounded by these annoying flies, but the beautiful sunrise definitely made up for it. Hood up and glasses on to protect me from the flies. We said goodbye to our camel and headed straight out on another tour to Ayers Rock. Where we got to learn so much about the Aboriginals' history and their connection to the rock. Arriving back and wanting to escape the desert heat, we went to an indoor talk where we learned all about the foods that are available in the outback.
Now, even though we are in the desert, yes, we're actually a semi-arid desert. We actually get an average up to 200 to 350 mils rain every year.
And then on to a very impressive didgeridoo workshop. After the workshop, we went to cool down in the pool and then caught the sunset over the outback.
Today, we're up before sunrise again, this time for a walk around the Olgas. Only a few steps into our walk, the flies are already in our ears and up our nose. So, out come the fly nets. This walk is called Valley of the Winds, and for good reason. It was sick to walk around these massive rock structures and also see the desert camouflaged insects. Although one insect that I'm not too keen on is a desert fly. With the desert being so dry, these flies try and get up your nose and in your ears for moisture, which is obviously so annoying. Now on the bus to the Outback Lodge, we spent some time by the pool and then went to the cinema room to escape the heat. In the evening, we went to an astronomy tour, something that we've been really looking forward to in Uluru. With there being close to zero light pollution, we had high hopes for this tour and it completely exceeded our expectations. Not only being the clearest night sky that we've ever seen, we also got to see Saturn and Jupiter through a telescope. After the tour, we made our way back to our accommodation at high speeds.
Today, we say goodbye to Uluru. And we head back to Sydney, where we'll be meeting Tom's brothers and spending Christmas. A 4-hour flight and a quick train later, we arrived at our accommodation and checked in for the night. This morning we're moving over to our apartment where we'll be spending the next week with Dame and Ollie. After checking in, we head out to explore Australia Museum. Which was absolutely huge and super interesting. In the afternoon, of course, we had to take a look at the local shopping centre. And it would be rude not to buy at least something. Also in Sydney city centre, they have a Lego shop, which had some pretty cool builds. Back at the apartments, we enjoyed some time by the pool and in the gym, and then we had an early dinner, ready to meet the boys in the morning.
Today, my brothers arrive in Sydney and we'll be spending the next 3 weeks together. Up early, we get the train to the airport and wait for them to arrive. We showed them around the apartment and then headed out for a day of sightseeing. After having a mandatory picture with the Sydney Opera House, we explored the Botanic Garden and headed back to the pool. where the jet lag clearly caught up with the boys.
Starting the day in the gym, we hopped on a ferry over to Shelley Beach. Where the boys enjoyed some snorkelling in the freezing cold sea. And then we spent the afternoon over on Manly Beach, where it was a lot less windy. We ended the day by grabbing an ice cream and then we hopped on the ferry back.
Today we're doing something we've wanted to do our entire lives, a skydive. We make our way to the centre of Sydney, where we jump in a van and head to Newcastle. Feeling very excited watching other people go up in the plane, we got kitted up and waited our turn. After what felt like the longest wait ever, it was finally time to go up in the plane.
Anyone you want to say good day to?
MZ.
Alrighty, let's have it.
Anything you want to say to friends and family?
Bye.
Bye. Love you lots. See you soon. Give me a high five. Let's go. How was that? You just did a skydive. You did a great job.
Awesome.
You want to say anything? How was it?
Amazing, yeah.
It was amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the favourite part for you? Falling, just
Yeah.
leaving the plane, floating for a little bit. Yeah.
Flying.
Cool, yeah. Do you think you'll come back again one day?
Hopefully, yeah.
Cool. High five, you did a good job. See you next time.
Thank you.
Ready for beer?
Yeah. So ready. That was so cool.
That was the best part of that, mate.
Free fall. The free fall was mental. That was so good.
Well done, brother.
Shake.
Skydive complete and full of adrenaline, we jumped back in the van to Sydney and had a very chilled afternoon by the beach, ready for Christmas Day tomorrow.
Wow, 10 out of 10. There's another wave coming on you, watch out. Ooh.
Waking up on our first ever hot Christmas day, we head down to Bondi Beach for sunrise. The beach was so nice and quiet, and surprisingly chilly, but that didn't stop the boys going for a sunrise swim. As the morning went on, we watched the beach get busier and busier, so by lunchtime we decided it was time to head off. As this afternoon we're picking up our hire car and heading over to some friends from home for a Christmas Day barbecue. Today, in our trusty little hire car, we make our way to the Blue Mountains.
Slow.
A rather long drive later, we arrive, check in, and then do a food shop.
Today, we head to Scenic World, an old mining facility that's been turned into a tourist attraction in the Blue Mountains. Our first experience is the Scenic Skyway, a cable car 270 metres above the valley floor. So after 10 months of carrying this drone, 2 full repairs and more near misses than I can count, my luck finally ran out as the extremely strong winds of the Blue Mountains took my drone deep over the forest, never to be seen again. Recovering from the fact that my drone is actually gone, we moved on to the Scenic Railway, which holds the record for being the steepest railway in the world. After walking back up, we drove to a different part of the Blue Mountains for a very steep and steppy walk. Finally reaching the bottom, I noticed that we're in very close proximity to the last landing point that my drone had given me. Still holding a bit of hope, Ollie and I went for a run to see if we could find it, but we were unsuccessful. The drone belongs to the forest now. Continuing our walk and making it back up the other side of the canyon. We get a bus back to our accommodation for dinner. Before bed that night, I heard some scratching on the window and noticed a little friend trying to come in.
Today, droneless, we head on another walk around the Blue Mountains, this time around the Grand Canyon track.
This walk had stunning views and also felt very prehistoric with these really overgrown ancient ferns. Getting back to the car, we head to our next stop, Minnehaha Waterfalls.
I took one look at these steps down to the waterfall and, still scarred from yesterday, decided that I'd definitely wait at the top. To end our time in the Blue Mountains, we headed out in the evening to watch a beautiful sunset. Today, we say a very sad goodbye to Australia and we fly to New Zealand. We give back our hire car and then check into our 4-hour flight to Auckland.